I think this is the most corrupt presidency in U.S. history. With the money they are raking in with the NFTs and the meme coin. I mean, it is so blatant. It's right in front of our eyes. I don't care about anything but saving the country.
He came in on the promise of ending the conflict in Ukraine.
In one day.
Wow. This just came out. This is hot off the presses. Ann Coulter basically is so done with MAGA. Ann Coulter said that she's finished. So this is Ann Coulter on this trigonometry that, okay, whatever. Ann Coulter on trigonometry. So yeah, talking about this being the most corrupt president in history. This screams volumes because Ann Coulter's not the kooky leftist, right? So let's take a look at this. Wow.
And your career has been very interesting because you've been very, very pro-Trump. 2016, then you were one of the first people to come out against Trump because you feel he betrayed the MAGA agenda. How do you feel about Trump now?
I'm finally getting the Trump I voted for.
What does that mean?
I can't believe it took him 8 years to actually do this stuff. I mean, in my defense, and to attack everyone, which you aren't asking, but when I have Americans MAGA-based, the cultists come up to me and say, oh, why have you turned against Trump? I mean, they're just utterly unprincipled. So, okay, they're okay with the policies of Jeb Bush. I think they'd be fine with the policies of Hillary as long as it's the host of The Apprentice. So if you're someone who didn't vote for Trump because of his personality, but voted for him despite his personality, which is me and all of my friends, no, he didn't. He governed like a standard Republican, cut taxes and screw the working class.
And so how is this incarnation of Trump different from the previous one?
Many, many ways. Most important thing, 100% immigration. He did immediately do the executive orders on immigration that he promised he would do the first time on anchor babies. Pregnant Mexican runs across the border, drops a baby. Oh, the baby.
Okay, so you know what? Like, they clickbaited me too. Okay, I got them, but it's okay. I probably clickbaited you to watch this, but it's okay. Listen, let's get right into the part where she says this. Actually, I want to see this putting America first thing.
Untouchable.
But isn't he though, Anne? Because look at the Iran thing, right? There were a lot of people there were some people who had principled opposition. Other people were just having a full-blown meltdown, calling for him to be impeached. Tucker Carlson went apeshit, all these Candace Owenses and all these other people, right? You stared them all down, proven ultimately completely correct on the decision he made. I would argue. The World War III predictions didn't materialize.
This show was edited because she was about to say something. And by the way, the World War III predictions are getting ready to, like Wall Street Journal is reporting that Iran is, Israel is getting ready to go back after Iran. So why do these people think that they have a say? Like, I'm sorry, I have a bias towards the host.
The U.S. involvement didn't materialize. I say it's because we put pressure on him not to let it materialize.
I think that's a very tenuous claim to make personally, but that's fine. My point is something else, which is he saw off the critics and came out on top. That's ultimately what happened.
Only because he moved on. We stopped obsessing with Iran. I mean, part of it is, at least from my perspective, it's not just that we're getting involved literally sending troops in. And again, he didn't end the war in Afghanistan. I'm sick of hearing about it. I don't want to turn on my TV and, wither Iran and this leader and that leader and Shia and Sunni. Can we get back to my country for 10 minutes here? What's going on our border? Can we care about my country? No, we always have to be fixated on whether the Middle East and Iran and Iraq.
Yeah, and a lot of soldiers die in the Middle East, and you're not talking about why we send soldiers there, right? You're making it seem like this is oblivious and comes out of nowhere. I listen, you know what? Ann Coulter is a very controversial subject, but I respect her, right? And she usually says it straightforward. She's not doing it on this interview. I can already tell you she's not. I wonder why. I wonder why.
And Israel and the Palestinians and how about Ukraine and Russia? Meanwhile, on our border, Mexicans are killing nearly 100,000 Americans a year. I've noticed Ukraine is a much bigger issue over here than it is in America. It is over and done in America. Nobody cares. They're sick of spending money. It's going into this a pit. And people keep dying. People would like it just to end. I think Putin realizes, and by the way, he's not Hitler. He's not going to march into Poland. He definitely wants all of Ukraine. It is historically part of Russia. I am not defending him. He invaded the country. Shouldn't have done that. But that's what he wants. He's made it very clear.
Not all of Ukraine is historically part of Russia, but
He
fine.
can't take that part of the argument, just so you know. Constantine, the way these people hate Russia, it is beyond. But there's like a history, and then if I started talking about the history, this whole channel would get banned. So we're not going to do that. But just so you know, he really hates he can't. One thing about Constantine, like he can't. The other one will just sit there and take it. He can't shut up. You know, he has to just sit up and say something. Whatever Ukraine is or isn't to Russia, it shouldn't have been an American issue. Okay, it's not.
No. I find it interesting because the way he's maneuvering himself. The thing that I've always found very interesting, I actually found it quite annoying, if I'm being honest, is the way that Republicans or nobody on the right who preached about corruption and the corruption that in the Biden administration, which there was a lot of, and we don't need to go into it because we all know what it was. Yet when Trump releases his meme coin, which to me is just outrageous, everybody's like, oh, that's fine. I'm like, is it?
Can't disagree with you. I mean, it's hilarious. I think this is the most corrupt presidency in U.S. history. with the money they are raking in with the NFTs and the meme coin. I mean, it is so blatant. It's right in front of our eyes. And the funny thing about I don't care as long as we get a wall and mass deportations. If I have not made that clear, I don't care about anything but saving the country. We'll deal with, future presidents being corrupt. I mean, it's corrupt in the sense that I should probably modify what I just said. It's corrupt in the sense that he's using the presidency to rake in so much money, which I believe is technically an ethics violation, but he isn't.
Technically. Sounds like an ethics violation to me.
This is weird. This is a weird moment when I do not like Constantine kissing, and it's like, okay, it is. Shut up. You guys really don't care, right? You care about NATO and America staying in NATO. So you don't care about American issues, right? So, just be quiet. Also, too, she's not getting that wall. Nobody's getting a wall, okay? I mean, come on. Okay. The mass deportations are not happening as fast as they should be. The administration has their eyes on other things. But on a show like TRIGGERnometry, Ann Coulter can't really talk about it. And in fact, she can't talk about it, period.
But I think it's better than, for example, not releasing the Epstein files because in a trade-off with his donors. Okay, give me $100 million and I won't release them. I mean, that hasn't come to light, but I'm just saying that right now he is just, as far as we know, just raking in the money to benefit himself and his family. He is pushing the MAGA policies, and I mean, I thought this, and I think I said it publicly. I don't know my Substack with Mickey Kaus because he asked me, now, if you liked Joe Biden's policies, would you care about this under Biden stuff? And we both agreed that I think most Americans wouldn't care if you liked the policies. Well, because that was another one. I'm sorry, sorry to interrupt. That was just to benefit the Biden family.
Okay. I'd see, my pushback to that is corruption is a cancer. And if you let it spread unchecked and you do not challenge it, it permeates into every facet of society.
Do they call out Netanyahu's corruption? Okay.
And society eventually collapses, which is what I've seen in Venezuela.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. I think the most corrupt, actually. Yeah, Venezuela.
Congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Murder capital of the world as well. Perfect. But so when I find what you're saying, Anne, as a Republican and as a conservative, quite shocking, if I'm being honest, because if we don't challenge corruption at the helm and the highest possible echelon, you're basically giving it a free pass, aren't you?
No, I agree with that in principle, and you're totally nailing me on it, and I'm probably blushing now. But our country is so much further gone than yours is. I thought it when I wrote Adios America in 2015 about immigration, not just illegal immigration, all immigration. Since 1970, we have been hauling in the third world hand over fist. I mean, 90% of our legal immigrants are from the third world. Try to immigrate from Western Europe. It was a specific design by the Democrats to change the country more in their favor, and happened to wreck the country at the same time. We're down to, this is something else that we can look up and get the actual number on. We're down to, from like 1620 up until 1970, the country was 80 to 90% white, 10 to 20% black. Those are foundational Americans, and the 1970 population overwhelmingly traced its ancestry back to colonial times. We're now down to, it's about 13% black, so that hasn't changed that much. We're now down to, I think, around 57% white Americans. And by the way, they include a lot of Hispanics in white. And people always talk about, and I'm sorry, but the president of Singapore was right. People do vote their ethnicity. The Democrats were right. Bringing in third world immigrants got them a lot of votes. Maybe we can change in the future. Maybe it takes about 100 years.
Wait, didn't Hispanics break for Trump this election?
Nope.
No?
Big fat lie. They went a little bit more for the Republican. No, it's like the rate of growth in the government.
Yeah.
No, it was a huge.
She's breaking down a lot of stuff that is true about the makeup of America now and everything. But the part that, all of these people do, where it's like, you're still being gaslit by both sides. It's both sides are bringing in a bunch of people from other countries. It's just simply a fact. Because, okay, fast forward to today, Trump, he is the one who agreed to H-1B visas, right? There's a bunch of people coming in from India that's legal. It's both sides. Everybody keeps doing this Democrat thing. It's not both sides. And to be honest, both sides didn't want to close the border, okay? Those Republicans like their slave class, you might as well say. So we need to talk about this in reality. And this conversation there's a plan for it. There's a plan. There's a blueprint for exactly what happened to America. But if I say the name of the blueprint, they'll shut down the channel. It's just sad. She could have said it there, but she's sitting next to two people who would have called her an anti-Semite for it. So anyway, it's a pretty good conversation, but a lot is left back, and Coulter, unfortunately, now has to be a fraction of who she was because censorship. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.